Welcome to DHN's special coverage of the upcoming election. Right now, most Americans are looking to see who will take over as president after Obama finishes his term. The election will be next year in November of 2016. Today, we brought in a special guest for the segment, my husband, Dave Huber. He has immersed himself into the world of politics and is a history teacher for the deaf school in our area, Phoenix Day School for the Deaf. He's been having this discussion with his students, so I decided to grab the opportunity and invite him to the show to get his thoughts on the next presidential election. Hello and welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, as we know, the election will take place next year in November of 2016. Can you tell us about what will happen now until the polls open?
Well, first we're going to have the primaries. Those will begin in January of 2016. Those votes will continue through July of 2016. People will be voting to see who wins the Democratic and Republican nomination. We'll know those results near the end of July. Everyone after that will be running for president of the United States, and we'll vote again in November of that year.
And now, if a person wants to run for president, but isn't able to win one of the nominations during the primary elections, will they still be able to run for president, but in another fashion?
Oh yes, they can. However, there's a significantly less chance that they will win the election. They would run as an independent, but when we look back through history, no independents have ever won.
Oh, great information. And now, some people have publicly announced their intent to run for president, and we've seen those with both Democratic and Republican candidates. Then there are those who haven't announced their campaigns just yet. With the Democratic Party, who do you feel has the best chance of winning the nomination in the primaries?
Really, there are two candidates right now that have the highest prospects. The first would be former First Lady, U.S. Senator, and Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. The second would be U.S. Senator for Vermont, Bernie Sanders.
Okay, and so from those two candidates who've announced thus far, why do you feel that they have the greatest chances of winning?
Well, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, she has a wealth of experience in the political field. As I mentioned, she was the Secretary of State as well as a U.S. Senator and a number of other political positions. She is also one of the candidates who raised an abundance of campaign funds. She's able to pay quite a bit of her advertisements to show up in different places. Now, when it comes to Bernie Sanders, he likes to refer to himself as a democratic socialist. That could be a good thing if people are wanting a change and maybe not trusting Hillary. He's also very liberal.
All right. And what factors could pose as a sort of roadblock to those candidates' potential to win?
Well, with Hillary Clinton, she's been through quite a lot of controversy during her tenure. There was the Benghazi and now private email scandal. Both of those could really hurt her campaign.
Oh, and does Bernie have anything that might hurt his potential to win the campaign?
Is Bernie inexperienced as someone like Hillary? No. And calling himself a socialist? Are we ready for that kind of change? Maybe not.
Well then, it should be interesting to see what happens with both of those. Now, are there any other Democratic candidates who might be on the ballot or...
Oh, yeah, definitely. Some, though, are more likely not to run, but who knows if they will change their mind. The most obvious example is Joe Biden. He's the current vice president, and he's yet to announce that he won't be running. But rumor has it there could be a dark horse out there who shows up out of nowhere, like Bill Clinton did in his election.
Oh, yes, and thank you. Thank you for explaining who's involved in the Democratic Party. Now, with the Republicans, we have seen a number of names announcing their candidacy for president. From those people, who has the best chance at leading in the primaries?
Yes. Actually, let me get my notes for this one.
Go right ahead.
As you said, with Republicans, there are a number of people interested in running. There are a few important contenders from who's announced thus far. One noticeable person would be Ted Cruz. He's a senator from Texas. And Marco Rubio, he's a senator from Florida, and he's the son of an immigrant family. Third on that list would be Rand Paul, a senator from Kentucky, and his father is the very well-known Ron Paul that ran for president in the past.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And now, what advantages do those candidates have in this campaign?
Well, now, Ted Cruz is a very conservative and rather popular with the Christian community. And for Rand Paul, he's very liberal. He's a major supporter for working across the aisle, which is working with conservatives and liberals. He rather criticizes the Republican Party, though.
Oh.
With Marco Rubio, he's from an immigrant family, as I mentioned. He's Hispanic and calls himself the next generation conservative.
I see. And what could potentially hurt these candidates and their chances of leading the polls?
Well, now, Rand Paul is somewhat weak when it comes to U.S. military intervention. With Ted Cruz, he's a major criticizer when it came to Obamacare. He became rather unpopular when he started criticizing Obamacare while Republicans and Democrats were trying to work on the program together. As for Marco Rubio, he has a very strong economic policy. However, he will have to compete with the other candidates in Florida.
Right. And there are many Republicans who haven't announced their campaigns just yet, but they will likely run, right?
Oh, yes, yes. People have been waiting for two people in particular.
Who?
Scott Walker, the governor from Wisconsin, and Jeb Bush, whose father was George Bush and brother was George W. Bush. He is also the former governor of Florida.
And now, what do you think is going to be beneficial in the races when it comes to Jeb Bush and Scott Walker for this year's election?
When it comes to Jeb Bush, he has been very good about focusing on education. When it comes to immigration, he's actually fluent in Spanish. Plus, with such a notable family, they can raise funds for the campaign, no problem. Scott Walker is famous in Wisconsin for reorganizing the finances there and raising their economic status.
Oh, and with those two candidates, what's likely to block them from winning the campaign?
Well, for Bush, it's his family name, really. It's so well known, and some people think it's great, while others, it's much more negative. With Walker, are people ready for change in the economy? That's the question.
Okay, then. So now we already know a number of the platforms when it comes to these candidates who are going to be running. And which ones are people watching out for this elections?
Really, there's just so many. Some have detailed what it is that they will run on, while some of the newer candidates have yet to explain their stance. We'll know more as we get closer to the primary.
All right, so let's focus on four of the hottest topics for people today. What are people's stance on the economy?
Oh, yes, the economy is a debate in America. Some prefer to stay out of it, mostly Republicans and some Democrats as well. For example, Scott Walker, who's a Republican, he really believes in the value of saving money. He wants to cut costs as much as possible and try to balance the budget.
I see. And what about people's perspectives on gun control?
Oh, yes, gun control and all of the violence that keeps happening. Republicans typically have a very loose control and want to allow it for everyone to have guns. Jeb Bush is famous for standing his ground in Florida and allowing most everyone to have guns, whereas we're seeing Democrats call for a ban on assault rifles.
Okay, and where do most of these candidates stand when it comes to immigration?
Oh, immigration, that is a hot issue. Some people, like Hillary Clinton, have said immigration keeps us young and dynamic, and she's a Democrat. With Republicans, it can be a bit more mixed. Candidates like Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz, they've encouraged immigration. Others, not so supportive.
I see. And the other topic that we're continuing to see come up these days is healthcare.
Ah, yes, Obamacare. That's quite the issue. Generally speaking, it's the Democrats who are supportive of it and even want to expand it and have more options for people. Whereas Republicans, they want to completely overhaul and throw out Obamacare. They say it isn't working and have other critiques. That's how it's been for some time now.
Well, it should be interesting to see what other issues we see pop up as the campaigns continue.
Yes, yes. And if you want to know more about these platforms and a number of other things, I suggest one excellent website called ontheissues.org. They are very reliable due to the number of facts and proof that they have behind their statements on presidential candidates.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And thank you for coming and explaining a little bit more about all of these things. I personally feel so much more knowledgeable about this upcoming election.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, does that mean we can discuss more at home?
Discuss it at home. I guess I do know a lot more now thanks to you. Well, it should be exciting to see what happens as we move closer to the election in November 2016. As more information comes up, DHN will continue to keep you updated. And thank you for joining us for our special edition on this upcoming election.